Hi, lovely people. It's Mark here from Not Defining. I hope you're doing so well. Today, I'm talking about the bi cycle, which is something that affects a lot of us bi people. I'm going to be telling you what it is, how it kind of works, and then at the end, I'm going to be giving you some tips to kind of navigate it if you are experiencing it. This is Not Defining, the place where we delve into sexuality, gender, love, sex, relationships, and loads more, just so that you can better understand yourself and find that best self, however you define. So the bi-cycle essentially refers to that process where you are attracted to one gender and then you kind of cycle away from that gender and start being attracted to another gender. Okay? And then oftentimes what happens is that you kind of cycle away from that gender and you go back to the first one. So a lot of bi plus people, we experience this cycle, where we kind of have these different attractions and feelings, thoughts, desires to different genders at different times. Now, the important thing to say about the bi cycle is that, bisexuality is not a set thing. It's not set in stone. For some people it is, but I think that's the minority. Most of us are fluid. We have some degree of bi-cycle, within our orientation. If you are experiencing this, if you want to find more about bisexuality, then come and click subscribe. Come and visit our Patreon page. You can come to group discussions with other bi people. You can get coaching from me. And if you'd like to book a private session, then click the link in the description below. I would love to get to know you more. So what happens in the bi cycle and how can we kind of understand it? So essentially what can happen is that we have different percentages of kind of the genders that we are attracted to. So we might be kind of more attracted to men, let's say, or the masculine, and just a little bit of women or the feminine, or one gender or the other. It doesn't matter. There's so much variety in our community. And what can happen is it can kind of stay in one place for a long time and you feel really set and stable in that kind of attraction. But then the cycle begins and you start to feel yourself kind of moving away from that gender and you're like, oh, I'm not looking at that gender like I used to, or I'm not feeling the same about that gender as I used to. Maybe there's sexual attraction, but like the romantic side of it's kind of changing, or maybe there's just like a romantic affectionate attraction, but like the sexual drive is kind of not there or getting weaker. And then you kind of start to merge and move, and the focus of your attention can go to another gender. And maybe this might be another gender completely. You like guys one day and then girls the next, or it could take place over the course of days, weeks, months, even years. I mean, there's no right way to experience the bi-cycle, but it just means that kind of process by which we merge between different genders. I think it's really important to talk about the bi-cycle and to let people know that it's completely normal, because so often we're told in society that we've got to have, one gender that we're attracted to. What often happens is that people experience this bi-cycle and they get incredibly panicked, right? Because they don't feel stable in one identity. Okay, so it can be really traumatic. And if you're struggling with it, please write in the comments, let us know, because there's so much support that we can give you here at Not Defining. But it's just important to say that, this is normal. There are people out there like you. I experience it. Lots of people experience, most of us experience it in some way or another, and it's completely okay. Now, sometimes people report having experienced the bi-cycle after a significant moment or event. So this might be a significant thing in your life. Maybe you reach a certain age, maybe you move to a different place, maybe your family situation or your living situation or your job or something changes in your life, and you find yourself kind of shifting and moving, in terms of your attractions to different genders. And a lot of people can think, oh my goodness, it's just because I am in a different phase of life. It's just a phase. There's a bit of a challenge with that kind of narrative. Yes, it's quite possible that if you are a fluid person or a person with capacity for fluidity, then like major life events can trigger changes in the focus of your orientation. The reason for that is because sexuality or orientation is actually about how we see other people in relation to ourselves. So if we have a situation where the way we view ourselves or our kind of identity is shifting, then it's perfectly natural that the way we see ourselves in relation to other people may shift as well. So it's not to downplay it. Do you know what I mean? It's not to be like, oh, it's just a phase. Oh, it's just because of this or that. Well, it's not just because, it just is. Like, that's completely normal for a bi or a fluid or a bi plus multisexual person to be. The other thing that can sometimes happen when we're talking about major events is that people experience a bi cycle after they come out of a relationship, or even sometimes when they have a sexual experience or a romantic experience. So for example, you might be female and you were with another female for a relationship for a time, and you break up, and then you find yourself being more drawn to men. Now, again, people will start to panic and they'll be like, oh my goodness, it's because of this that I've now turned this way or that way or whatever. And people they try desperately to ascertain why it is and like whether it's real or it's just the trauma from the breakup or it's just a rebound or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's perfectly natural. People have fluid sexuality. And if you're experiencing that, it's absolutely okay. You don't need to find a specific reason. It's very, very natural, particularly for bi people when, we're with a partner for one time of one gender, and we have different attractions to, there's different sides of us. And so, if you're with someone of one gender for a time, it's so natural to be like, well, actually I've had that and I haven't got to experience this other side of me. So, it's very, very normal, for example, with any identity, you're with a certain partner and the next partner you have, you might go for the same thing because that's your type. But a lot of the time people will go for someone completely different, right? If you were with a tall person, you might go with a small person. If you were with a broad person, you might go with a skinny person. If you were with a very aggressive, assertive person, you might go for a delicate and gentle person. Like, there's so many reasons why we might want to go for something other than the partner or the person that we've been with. And gender is just one of them. We place so much emphasis and importance on gender and which genders we're attracted to, but it's actually just the characteristic like any other. So the more we can realize that and just normalize that and just not panic and kind of think like, oh, it means something fundamental about me. It doesn't. Just go with it and listen to your body. And that brings me on to my final point, which is, what do we do if we are struggling with anxiety or panic, or we're kind of experiencing the bi cycle for the first time and we don't know what's going on? So what I would suggest is to try to remember that sex and gender are spectrums, okay? So we tend to think of men and women as like one or the other. Yeah, they're two mutually exclusive things. They're not. So if you're having a bi cycle from kind of men to women or women to men, all you're really doing is moving up and down a continuum. Yeah, it's a spectrum. So it's not that you flipped from one and you cannot go back. It's not that you've kind of now become attracted to something completely different and removed from what you were before. You're the same as you were before. Human beings are the same in the womb, yeah? Our bodies are actually the same. They're just derivatives of one side or the other. So you're the same as you were before. You've just shifted to a different energy, a different something or other. And it's just the same, like I said, as any characteristic. You've just shifted somewhere along the spectrum, and just think of people as humans, okay? What human am I attracted to? Do they have dark hair, light hair, green eyes, blue eyes? Are they tall? Are they small? Are they masculine? Are they feminine in their personality or their physicality? Just think about people as humans and try and put aside gender, and hopefully that will stop the panic or the confusion, because you wouldn't feel panicked and confused if you went out with a redhead and then you got with a blonde. That doesn't mean anything to you because we don't place meaning on it in our society. So gender is actually the same. Anyway, if you'd like some more support, then please, come and speak to me. We can book a private session with me. I'd love to help you out. Come and join our Patreon. We've got loads more content there exclusively to our Patreon family. And if you want more information on bisexuality, then check out this video and this playlist, because there's loads of information there. I will speak to you again soon, and thank you so much for listening. Love you so much. Bye for now.